What we're going to do is we're going to do a really quick review of what we talked about yesterday and the steps that it takes to create an old age makeup design. So, at your tables, I want you to discuss the following. What are the steps to applying the old age makeup? What are the 4 steps that we've talked about? All right, this is a review. Take about 30 seconds with your group to decide what do you do first, second, third, and fourth. Okay, so when we're talking about old age makeup, so what's our first step? What is that? Wrinkles. Wrinkles, correct. So we create the wrinkles on the face. And again, you can use latex, but we're going to use the glue. Same thing. When we get to it, we're going to take our time. Come on down, buddy. All right, step 2. That's the shadows, right? That's creating definition in those wrinkles. It's filling out the creases. What's the third step? Highlights. The highlights. All those where our bones might stick out or things may be a little closer to the surface. And then fourth step, last step, hair and details, right? So adding liver spots, adding those old age details that make the makeup complete. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And Kumar, you will be partnered, okay, at this table. Thank you. Okay, so we're starting with our wrinkles. We're going to take about 10 minutes. Remember that the idea behind the wrinkles is that you are spreading the area as the actor to hold where the wrinkles are going to be showing up. But you need to spread it out nice and thin so that when you release it, that glue or that latex shrinks up, okay? So go ahead and start around the lips, forehead, crow's feet, eyes, bags of the eyes. And you can go ahead and get started. So you two are partners, okay? And you're going to want to get rid of those headphones. Go ahead and put everything in your backpack, okay? Thank you.
There! Oh.
So you're getting old today, yes sir. And again, actors, you're holding that area wide until your application dries so that it really shows those wrinkles. Nadia, come on. So what area are you working on? Okay, you're going to give her a crochet. So you got to hold those wide. Okay, Nadia, and hold them tight.
Did I do it? No, I'm Mister, do I leave it or do I have to like rub it around?
I would spread it out so that it's a nice thin coat. It'll dry faster that way.
Is that good enough or more?
I would put a little bit more further down. Because especially if you're doing the crow's feet, it's going to need to go right near the corner.
So I should add more?
Yes. Yeah, watch the hair. She doesn't want that stuck in glue. Yeah, make sure you're pulling that nice and tight, okay? Woobins, you look excited to be getting old age makeup on. So where are we trying to put the wrinkles? On the bags of the eyes. So you're really going to want to pull that area down a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Pull it tighter. And then add a little bit more on top of that, please. You can pull that down. You're just pushing into your face. Really stretch it out. There we go. That's better. I would apply a little bit more. Yes. You've got about 5 minutes left, so once that area is dry, if you want to find another area to apply those wrinkles to, feel free to go ahead and do so.
I don't know, you tell me. Can I do your forehead?
I can't hold on to that. I'll hold it for you. Where else will you put you?
So again, you've got the forehead, you've got those areas around the jowls of the mouth.
Or no,
We've got the bags of the eyes and the crow's feet, don't forget those.
No, I don't know what I did, but it just looks weird. It just looks, yeah, have literal glue on your forehead. This is what it looks like.
Did we stretch it?
I tried to.
So you don't push your eyebrows up if we're putting the glue on. You actually stretch it out, and we hold it that way. And you can see some of the wrinkling in there. What I would recommend is an area that's easier to do, such as the crow's feet of the eyes. That's going to give you stronger wrinkles.
Te lo quitaste. Ya no está ahí. Quitaste con el dedo. Is this supposed to look like that? Because I think she smeared it.
That's okay. As long as she's holding it nice and tight, as it dries, it should look okay. All right, it looks like most of you are getting finished with your wrinkles.
You got them. She got the wrinkles. Good job. You got wrinkles, girl.
Oh my god.
I felt it.
How'd it turn out? There we go, yeah, we got some nice crow's feet in there.
You see?
You don't need to add any more, okay?
What do I have? You're old enough.
You can see some of it. It's a little narrow or a little thin layer. I would put a little bit more, but I think we're good there. Is the glue still wet? Does it look wet? You can let it go. Let it go. See what happens. Okay, you got some wrinkling in there. Yeah,
Feel it.
yeah, that's some great one on that side. You'll see it at the end, okay? All right, how you doing, Woobens? Let that go and see what happens. There we go, look at those wrinkles, that's great. You got some great wrinkles in there. Okay, I think we're gonna stop on the application, okay? That's okay, that's okay. Whatever you've got, we're gonna go ahead and let go. Let that go, see what happens. I think it's too wet still. And it's not close enough to where the actual wrinkles would be, up near the corner of his eye. Right, so you wanna make sure you get that in there nice and close. And that's really what's gonna create the wrinkles, but we're gonna spread this out some so it dries a little bit faster. And let it go. We'll get some wrinkles, not as much as we would like. You do it to the other side too. Yeah, that one's not too bad. That one's not too bad. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next step. The shadows. And again, for shadows, it's a darker color than their normal skin color. So you choose what you want that to be, whether it's black or brown, just something darker than their natural skin color. And I went ahead and put up those areas that you want to focus on for shadowing, right? Those areas where bone structures are getting closer to the surface. The sides of the nose.
I tried to do your eyes.
Those creases of the face, the temple ridge, so those temple areas.
My skin feels old.
And you're gonna use the makeup wedge for this, right? Make sure you're using your makeup wedge. Not appropriate. All right, so let's go ahead and start working on our shadowing, please. And again, the sides of the nose, not the bridge. The bridge is for highlighting, right? So the sides of our nose are where we're gonna add on the side. That's right down the middle.
So we don't put this really much glue.
Once the glue's dry, you can absolutely put it over it, but for right now, focus on those areas that are gonna be shadowed. So those areas where the cheeks sink in, the temples of the forehead.
You look old. You look old.
Well, already you look like you're in your 20s.
Nothing, that's the problem. She can't see anything.
Because your glasses are off.
I'm like slowly peeling it off my forehead. Yeah, the forehead, but at least it looks like there are wrinkles on your
Well, I was gonna say if nothing else, maybe she just has really ashy skin.
You look like you're gonna. She looks like she belongs in an Indian tribe.
Oh. You're just starting, you're just starting. That's looking good, Nick. And remember that the shadow really goes more in here. The highlight's actually gonna go right in there, okay? Whew. We got some geriatrics in here. Again, remember, if we're doing a really fast old age makeup, all we would really have time for is some of the shadowing, and some of what you guys are doing is really great for that from a distance effect of looking older. Just by creating those indentions in the skin, the sagging skin, or the skin that looks like it's getting closer to the bone. I think we should be using this one instead of that one for right now, okay? To give more detail.
Should I add more on her to make it?
Okay, but age spot.
We focus on the age spots during the 4th step, right? We want to get the shadowing and highlighting done first.
Like you want us to do little bridges and stuff?
Underneath, yep. So all that area in the cheek area, down in there.
You want me to do like a line and like blend it in?
That's what I would do, absolutely.
You're gonna look good, bro.
Huh?
It's like kind of like contour.
It's exactly like contouring, absolutely.
Put it like on the cheekbone.
Absolutely. Right underneath the cheekbone. The highlight goes on the cheekbone. Justin, you'll get to look at it afterwards. Justin, go ahead and put it away right now. You'll get to see it afterwards.
Nah, you have beard there.
I would fill it in the cheeks themselves more, because right now it's hard to see that that's been concaved or sunken in. Hey guys, cell phones away right now. You'll get to see it at the end of class. I think we can add a little bit more, make it a little bit darker, especially in those temple areas, that area in between the lips, the sides of the nose don't have anything right now. So really fill that in. Make them look old. Francisco, really getting his cheeks. All right, really cave that in. What's going on? It's a little too high. So when we're thinking of contouring, we're going along the cheekbone and just underneath it for the shadow, on top of it for the highlight. So for right now with the contouring, go ahead and fill in those cheeks on both sides and the temples up in there, okay? All right. Right now, you're just focusing a lot on the actual cheek instead of underneath it. The cheek itself needs highlight, not the shadow. So you're going to want to make sure you're going underneath that shadow to give it a nice, deep, dark skin. I would use a darker color, okay?
Okay.
Have you had any contouring to her cheeks yet?
They're just starting on that.
Okay, okay.
I don't know what I'm doing right now.
So do you.
I think that can be a little bit darker. You can get a little bit more on there.
I have a bruise on my face.
No. Have a bruise on your face, Ruby.
Those jowl lines are really creating some nice effect. Good job.
How does this look?
That really helps doing those jowl lines. Yep. Look at you getting older.
I can't help
You could probably get make it a little bit darker, so mix that up a little bit more. Same thing, I think that's too light. I think you need to actually go darker on him. Or a little bit of both, yeah.
I don't know. But you don't look old yet. You look like you could be in your 20s, I guess.
Yeah. Not quite old enough yet. I think we need to go a little bit darker with that brown. Maybe add a little bit of the black into it.
Real like zombie. I haven't
It just came off brown on you, like red.
The brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the black's where it needs to be. Just make sure you're blending it nice and tight so it's not just like he's got a dirty face, but actually blending it into his natural skin color. Okay. Same thing up here. It starts at the temple and blends outward, similar to what we did with the zombie makeup. Ubens, come back and focus on yours, okay? Yeah. When we get to highlight, that'll help highlight some of those shadows too. When we pop out some of the highlight a little bit. You got about 2 minutes left on shadow, folks. About 2 minutes left. What I'm going to recommend you do is after the fact is he's going to wrinkle his forehead like that and just put the highlight on the tops of those wrinkles, not on the crevices where you got the shadow, and that's going to really help pop those wrinkles too. Which is what we're going to next. We're going to the highlight next. I think for Jeremy we can really add in some more definition in the cheeks, contouring, and make it the shadow a little bit deeper. I think you need a darker color though. I think we can add more blending into the cheeks, right? So it's not just a straight line on his hairline, but actually blend it down into his cheeks. All right, guys, about another minute on shadow before we're moving on. Really get in there in those cheeks. And I think you need a darker color. Not with that, with this brush. And I think you need to mix the brown and the black a little bit because we really want to get that darker. Language, Justin. What did I say? Watch what you're saying. Yes. How are we doing, kiddo? Not too bad. It's a little light, though. I would darken it some. I would add a little black to it.
What do you want me to do though? Like,
so part of contouring
I
in
know
the
what
cheeks.
you mean. It's like the little line thingy.
Yeah,
but
bring
you
it
just
down
want
in
me to
there. Bring it
overall
down
make
in there.
blacker?
Well, it needs to be darker for sure, and then bring it down and blend it into her skin some.
Okay.
All right.
So basically, you know what I'm
Just stronger. Again, I think it's a little high, so we want to go underneath his cheekbone, not on his cheekbone. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on, ladies and gentlemen. So we're moving on to highlight now. And with highlight, what we're thinking about is those areas that we want to look a little lighter, those parts that have aged a little bit more. And within that, we're thinking of the bridge of the nose. That's the cheekbones themselves, not underneath, but the actual cheekbone. The above the creases in the face and the forehead, especially above those wrinkles on the forehead. The brow bone below the eyebrows, right? So just underneath that eyebrow, but still on the brow bone. Those are the areas of the highlights. So that's what I want you focusing on now. Giving a lighter color, giving some highlights. And again, make sure you're blending so it's not a harsh line.
We want to use like the light gray.
You can use the light gray or the white, either or. Just as long as you're blending it, that's what's going to make the difference.
You know what I noticed? The corner of her eyes was yellow. Like right in here was yellow and I didn't do anything to it.
I'd say start.
Well, some of the shadow is starting to give that effect too.
Is Nick doing this right?
Yeah, what I would do is recommend wrinkling up your forehead. There you go, and then do the highlight over that and not in the crevices. That's going to help. So we're doing highlights. You take a slightly lighter color. We're going to use a new sponge. I'm going to take that white, sure, why not? Really mix it up in there. And you're going to do some blending. So you're going to start by and then you're going to blend it out. So where do we want highlights? Let's say, again, give him some old age highlights up here. There we go, and blend it out into his skin. Just on top of the wrinkles. So when you let that go, you see those wrinkle lines, right? It makes him look older. At the same time, right on his cheekbones and work backwards. And blend it out.
You got another one of those?
I think that one's good.
Yeah.
Let's get some more white, and this time you're going to do it. So do the same thing on his other cheekbone. Really bring out the highlight, the bridge of his nose as well. Okay? Yes.
I'm trying to get into a rental.
So I think one thing you can do is wrinkle your forehead, push your eyebrows up. Push your eyebrows up. There you go. And go over that with the highlight. So don't relax it though. Hold it until she's finished. Go over with the highlight. Keep holding it up.
I'm gonna wait till she goes.
But then go over only the top part of it, the part that's raised. That way when he releases it, the inside of the wrinkles are still darker. Does that make sense?
What color are you gonna use?
I messed up.
Well,
I don't know what happened. Like
it looks like the glue started peeling on the forehead because you were probably rubbing instead of stippling. Remember the difference? You were going back and forth?
Yeah.
All right. You may have also had a lot of water. That might have also been part of it to start to eat away at some of the glue. But we can still do some work on that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a baby wipe and I'm going to wipe off that glue that's on his forehead because it's not doing anything for us. So I'm going to wipe that off. There we go. Nice thing about glue is it comes right off.
What about latex?
Latex is a little bit more work. They have products you can use to help get the latex off. But since we're using glue, it's that much easier. Just a baby wipe. All right, so then what I would do is I would say just wrinkle your forehead. Is this your sponge? Wrinkle your forehead up for me. So push your eyebrows up. There we go. And we're just gonna, as high as you can, and hold it. All right. We're just gonna go over the top of it, right? And then blend that out some. And then when he releases it, it looks like his skin has aged some, and he's got some wrinkles in there. Does that make sense? So we see the darker areas where his wrinkles would be. Yeah. All right. So that's the idea. If you want to keep going over his cheeks, you can do that with his eyes. If he squints his eyes, you can then go over some of those wrinkles with that on the sides of it, over where his crow's feet are on both sides.
Do that.
All right. How are we doing with highlight?
Oh my god, I think your eyelash.
What I would recommend doing, same thing I was telling some of the others, a really fast way to do highlight is take some of that white, wrinkle up your forehead. There we go. Yeah, push up with your eyebrows. There we go. And then just kind of go over the top edge of it so that the inside stays kind of dark. And then as she releases that, you're going to see some of those wrinkle lines. And you can go back in and you can shadow some of those if you want to. Take some of your shadow and fill in some of those lines. And they start to age her. I would give some more shadow to her jaw lines. Right in there, right? Just age her a little bit more. I'd spread those lines out a little bit more too. Does that make sense? All right. That's, I would say, blend out some of these crow's feet a little bit more and fill in those areas as well. In between here, I think can be a little bit lighter. You did okay. I would have brought the shadow up a little bit more on the cheek, okay, and left that highlighting just on the cheekbone itself.
You know what? That's I should look tired. He's look really tired.
But at the same time, that's part of it. What I think your biggest challenge is getting those shadows nice and dark. Your shadows just need to be a little bit darker. So in general, get a little more makeup on. Don't be afraid of the makeup. All right. So then I'm gonna actually pucker your lips. There we go. So find that and then really blend it down.
You keep moving.
That's okay. That's okay. From the stage, it won't though. Look at that already. Does that make a difference? So try that on the other side. From a distance, she looks really old. Great job. I would say, again, add more contour in the cheeks. So is this your brush?
Yes.
Yes. So if we take some of that brown. And don't be afraid of the makeup, guys. Really get some on it.
Don't need to be.
And then can you pucker your lips for me? There we go. I'm just finding out where his cheekbone really is. And we're going to blend that down to make that older, right? Blend that in. Hey.
I was gonna ask you for the work now before we can go.
I would say just wait till the substitute next period. Okay. There we go. All right. So we see there's more of a contrast now, and I'm gonna bring the highlight back up into that, so that we're running out of that, but we got some white right here.
That's the. I didn't know that.
That's what that was?
Yep. And I don't want a lot.
I thought that was for the hair.
So start on the apple of the cheek and blend it backward. Right, get rid of some of that young looking pink. There we go. Down his nose as well. So go ahead and add those spots that we know are highlighted. I would even have him pucker his lips and go over the lips, right? We talked about that. And the same thing on this side. Contour down. I would add some more highlights to his upper cheek and darken that bottom part a little bit more. Okay? On both sides. Jesus. All right, about 2 more minutes on highlighting. 2 more minutes. How are we doing down here? He's looking older. He's looking older.
That's Jeremy. Because like over here's the green one and the white one's spread out. What the deal is.
Yeah. What you can do is actually take your brush or take your sponge and make that work for you by making it look kind of like it's age spots on his skin. We need some more water in the brown. Where's the cap? So if we take some of that brown and mix it up a little bit. All right, we can go over that and just give him some aged areas. Does that make sense? So you see how we're starting to cover up that edge some? And that'll help you get rid of some of those glue spots. Just make it look older, like he's got older age spots. And if we had paintbrushes, which we don't, but you can go in and add some texture to help with that too. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. I would add a little more contour to his cheeks though. Make it a little bit darker down there.
Darker in the
Yep.
brown.
And up in his temples. You can use the brown, just use a lot of it, right? So make sure you're getting enough in there. I would say for Nia, contour the jowl line a little bit more. Those crow's feet you can probably make a little bit more established and a little bit more distinguished. Come here, buddy. Come on down. Have a seat. Stay with your partner, please. All right, one more minute on the highlights. One more minute on the highlights.
Put a paint on your face.
Yeah, but put it with your hand, not blow it in my face.
Well, what you would do, you would ask him to close his eyes,
Yeah.
and then you would powder it where you wanted it. But we're not on here yet.
I don't.
We're not on here yet.
You can powder my beard.
Yeah, if you want to do it that way, you can do that too. But close your eyes again. Make sure your eyes are closed. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to the last step. So for our last step, we're looking at hair and details. All right, so we're making sure we get the finished full product. Color in the hair using powder or gray spray if we had it, but we're going to be using the powder. Also adding age marks, liver spots, and helping complete the look. Areas where the skin may have aged differently. Touching up highlights and shadows. Adding wrinkles and coloring to the lips. Like we talked about yesterday, Justin. Have a seat, buddy. 10 minutes, off you go. So I would do a highlight on the lips. So you pucker your lips and then cover over it with the highlight. And then the darker areas underneath will show up. Yeah, it's not too bad. So you're being a little too nice with that powder and you're caking it a little bit. What I would do instead, just bring it back. It's powder, it will wipe out with a baby wipe. But really get it in there. There he goes, see? See how it's starting to turn gray now? It'll wipe out with a baby wipe, you'll be fine, Woobins. But I would get it in there. And on his eyebrows, right?
I have an extra makeup sponge.
Yes, come here. After the fact, not while she's doing it. She's got to get a grade for it.
All you do is laugh all the time.
That's looking better, Jess. I would age her eyebrows with some of the powder.
What is he doing? Great. What is he doing? Is he going?
Justin, focus please. We gotta get finished. Put the phones away and let Jesus do his job. Put the pick away. Or use the hands and powder. Just put powder on your hands. Ask him to close his eyes and put it on him.
No, he's trying to dump it on me.
Excuse me, kiddo.